Charlotte. We welcome in the Orange of Syracuse into our press conference area. We will have head coach Fran Brown offer an opening statement, and then after coach is finished, we will move microphones throughout the room to spend as much time with our head coach and our student athletes as we can. So Coach Brown, the podium is yours.
Good afternoon. Appreciate the opportunity of being here. For me, I'm just extremely thankful and blessed to have the opportunity of leading our program this year. Excited about the new leaders that we have on our football team. The chance they get to show their leadership, to build our team, just to be able to build trust, to build the culture of Dart, and just show that we truly committed to it, that we care, and that we trust each other. So it's going to be big for us this year. Very thankful to just be in this conference, right? For me, it's a conference of quarterbacks. For us, having the opportunity right now of having two really good quarterbacks, right? Having a chance to compete, that means a lot to us. A bunch of preeminent players throughout this conference that are truly good and that can play on our football team and amongst the other teams. I think that we probably have the strongest non-conference schedule in the country, and being able to have that, being able to compete week in and week out, you'll just see a conference full of competitive guys, competitive coaches. I think we have some of the better coaches in the conference that we get an opportunity to compete against, and I'm happy to just be the man that has a chance to lead this program out this season to see what we can do, right? To show guys that we'll be here to compete and to play some physical, tough football.
Coach, thank you. We will start our microphones. We will go first row to your left, and why don't we just get our first two questions from there, please.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. How are you, Coach?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing very well. You mentioned it in the open there that you have two quarterbacks willing to compete here in the fall. Just what you saw with Steve Angeli and why you wanted to bring him in, and then Ricky Collins Jr., what this could be like for the fall to push this team as they push each other.
I thought he's been a leader since he was in high school. He's done a good job getting a chance to follow him a little bit there. And then let's be realistic. I think when he got a chance to play in that bowl game last year, he did a good job and led them to a victory. But then for me, what stood out the most was Notre Dame's last year making that run and playing against Penn State when that quarterback was out and he went in, to have a guy just be able to come in with so much poise, so much leadership, seeing the team be behind him being able to take them down the field and score. I felt like that led to that spark that they needed for them to be able to go along and win that game and being able to go and compete in a national championship. So, I want champions on our football team, but for us, it's competitive all over, all right? No one's safe, right? For us, everybody's competing to play at every single position. We have guys that can compete to play. So if you decide not to compete that day, you might not be in the position you're in that day the next day.
Joe Bombo, Athlon Sports, right here. Coach, I was just wondering, last year's passing success with quarterback Kyle McCord, some believe that it was a product of him as a quarterback. I'm asking, is that the system that you plan to run moving forward, or was that just a product of who we had at quarterback at that
I think it was a mixture of both. I think he was really well. I think it is the system, but I can't take away from how good he is, the decisions that he made, the leadership that he's shown day in and day out throughout that program. Kyle McCord came in, he set records for the ACC that haven't never been done. He's done that. He set records at the school at Syracuse, which have Hall of Famers that came there and played quarterback. So to say that it wasn't Kyle, that would be weird to not say that. So, definitely it was Kyle. But if you go back and you check who Jeff Nixon is and what he's been doing for a long time, when he was at Baylor, the same system, the same thing went well and he did a good job. When he had an opportunity of taking over, being the offensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers, the same thing happened, and he did a good job during his time. And, Jeff was a well-sought-out guy this offseason. A lot of people want him to come in that program and being able to do it. I think we kind of out-recruited those guys a little bit, and he's been able to stay with us. So we think we have a really good offensive coordinator, and we have a really good offensive staff. And then we added some other pieces to come in to be able to help us add on to that, with the Josh Gaddis being able to be on our staff now. We still have Mike Johnson, who's been a coordinator in the NFL. You got Nunzio Campanelli, who's been a coordinator. So we have Jeff Nixon, who I think is the brains of the operation. But there's a lot of guys around him that help, that push. All the way down to a QC that can help us as young guys. So it's just what we do as a whole. It goes back to the beginning. I think that we're all committed, we care, and we trust each other. So when you got a group of men playing like that, you just see family, right?
Coach right side, hard right, about the fifth row.
Hey, Coach Thomas Christopher from the League Winners. Speaking to multiple players at the Senior Bowl and Shrine Bowl last year, your message of DART, detailed, accountable, relentless, tough, is consistently echoed by them just after 1 year. How does that feel to have a message that continues to impact players after their collegiate career, and how has that helped you on the recruiting trail?
It's just consistency. I think anywhere that you see people that were successful, when you follow all of the great coaches that have coached this game of football, I think that they've all been consistent, right? And just being consistent. And when things go bad, they're able to still stick to those same core values. And we were able to do that through ups and through downs, and just always being able to stick to our core values. Core values mean everything to us. DART is how we want to live throughout our life, right? This isn't just what we say so everyone can like it and do it. It's how you want to live. If you're detailed, if you're accountable, relentless, and tough as a father, I think your wife will be pretty happy, right? I think your children will follow you. So you want to take these core values and be able to use them in life, and you could also use them in your faith, right? If you're detailed, accountable, relentless, and tough when it comes to your faith, and you're focused on that, when there's tough times in life, you can fall back on the faith, right? So we kind of take that and just live that way. It's not just a saying, it's a way of life.
Coach left side, third row, almost to the wall.
Katrina Sacken, Sports and Culture Media. Coach, how are you?
I'm blessed. How about yourself?
Good. You won the Steve Spurrier First Year Coach of the Year award and led Syracuse to 10 wins for the first time in 6 years. What is the key to continuing the positive momentum that's developed amongst this program? I
think just the mental toughness, and the award was presented to me. I think our team won that award, the coaching staff won that award, and the fan base. I just was the guy that got a chance to go on the stage and receive it for all of us. But it's for us, it's a day-to-day grind, right? Mental toughness is to be where your feet are. So I feel like if daily, I just focus on the mission at task, right? And that'll eventually get us to what our ending goal is, which we want to be able to compete and play for a national championship. But just daily, I'm focused on being where my feet are. I'm locked in.
Coach right side, third row.
Kenton Gibbs, Locked On ACC. First thing first, how is Jamie Trimble's progression and development been as he's expected to replace a definite dynamic playmaker in Arondé Gaston? And you talked about, keeping your wife and kids happy. Is the winners get washed thing still a thing with you as well, or is that something that's kind of going by the wayside?
That was just something that I said. I mean, it just depends how you feel if you lose, right? For me, when you practice all week, you practice all week to win. You don't practice to lose. So when you lose, if you're okay with that, you know how they be like, well, as long as you did everything you could, you shouldn't worry about it. That's BS. I don't live by that, right? You lose, like you took a piece of like what I was working on that. So that means a lot. Jamie's doing a really good job, but Arondé will be replaced by Dan Villari and then a bunch of other guys, right? So Dan's the guy that's going to step up into that role and be able to play that role, and he's working. I mean, Arondé is a guy, right? Arondé will never just be replaced by one person, but we feel when it comes to the work ethic, the mindset, the ability to make guys miss, to run after the catch, we think Dan Villari is the guy to step into that role and be able to do that, but he'll just also be assist, right? We think Jamie's doing a hell of a job. He's working his butt off. Anytime you see guys working at practice, you'll catch Dan and him together, right? So they're doing a real good job together of being able to go and replace him. But Arondé will probably start in the NFL this year, so you just don't replace that guy with one person. But if we got to go off of who leads that room now, who's a leader on our offense, it's Dan Villari that's doing that. But Jamie's doing an outstanding job, and I think you guys will like the roles that you see him in this year when you watch him play a little bit of football. He'll be moving all over the field.
Let's go back to Dan in the front row right in front of you.
Fran, you speak on DART, detailed, accountable, relentless, and tough, and then your faith as well. Just the importance of not just saying these things, but living them every single day in the building of the foundational pillars of what the culture is at Syracuse football today, tomorrow, and the next day.
Yeah, I mean, faith is everything. That's why I'm standing here, right? Because of my, for me, it's my religion first, right? It's the man above that I push, and I think when you're trying to do that and you're trying to teach men that and teach young men that, they got to have a foundation, right? Because at some point, all of us in here are career women and men, and we're working extremely hard. But at some point, it was extremely hard for you guys, right? And you may have made a couple phone calls, and some people gave you the motivation that, yeah, I keep going and I can do it. But for me, it's nothing like that word, nothing like being able to just trust in something that you can't see, right? That's the faith, that's the trust, the belief. And I just think that they see that I live that, right? And you ask them, that's every day, right? It's not a recruiting pitch, or it's not just different things. Like, that's who I am, because when I went through my trials and tribulations, it wasn't someone else that got me out of it. It was the word, right? It was just seeing those stories and seeing things in the Bible that happened hundreds of years ago that was going on now in my own life. So I'm like, well, if they went through it, then maybe if I focus and I lock in and I read these stories, I don't got to make the same mistakes, right? So it's just trying to be able to help them be the best fathers, the best husbands, the best community men that they can be. And the best example I could show it is by walking it daily.
Coach, right side, 6th row, right in the middle.
Hey, Coach, how excited is the team with playing a big game against Tennessee in the opener in Atlanta?
We're blessed to be able to play in such a prestigious venue, right, against a blue blood of college football. They've been doing well for years, right? I got a cousin that played there that I watch, and just, I mean, all the way back to Reggie White. So we get a chance to go and play against Tennessee. We're thankful. We're just thankful to be able to play in that venue. We're extremely happy to get the chance to go and play against Tennessee. They do a real good job. So our team's excited. We're thankful, but you know, the main thing's the main thing. We're trying to focus on, like today, you know, being able to, they're back there, they want to focus on the skull session, right? And then they want to focus on the workout that they'll have today. So that way we can be ready for that big stage, right? I mentioned something to a coach when he was leaving to go with another program. He felt like that was a big stage, a big program. And I told him, I said MFer, but I was like, stages are created by the people on them. Like, you put the work in and it'll come to you. Don't ever run somewhere thinking I'm going to run to this stage and now this is where I belong at. Like, no, they're created by the daily grind, the daily work. And if it's meant for you to go get what you're supposed to get when you hit that spot, then just be ready for it. So mental toughness, these dudes trying to be where they are, and we're just working. We're just working daily because, man, Tennessee a good program. They're a good team. They play in the playoffs. We get a chance to go out and compete against them. We just want to make sure we look the way we want to look and we're supposed to look when you go play against a team of that caliber, because they usually blow everybody out in the beginning of the year and do those things. So we just blessed to have an opportunity to play against them.
Coach, we're going to squeeze in a last question, left side, about the 7th row.
Owen Hillman, WVFS Tallahassee. Talking more about that game against Tennessee, you've played Tennessee several times as a Georgia defensive back coach. How is it playing against Tennessee yet again in Atlanta, a place you played multiple times?
It's an honor. I'm thankful. I think Coach Heupel is probably top 5 best coaches in college football right now. His offense has done an amazing job. He got the defense rolling. You know, what happened at Georgia don't got nothing to do with at Syracuse. So I'm just focused. My mental toughness, I'm going to be where my feet are. We locked in on the day so we can be ready when we get to that stage. But, I mean, it's a big venue, so we got to make sure we're ready when that time comes.
Coach, thank you. You and Barry can switch spots.
Appreciate
We'll
that.
spend time with Barry Buxton. Folks, again, if you've identified yourselves already, please reintroduce yourselves to our student athletes. That would be a great help. And Barry, your first question will come to your left, right there in the front row.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Barry, for you, we have a mixture of returnees as well as transfers that are coming in on the defensive side of the ball. What can you say to what that mix has been like and how you've all kind of taken from each other to work in what this new team is going to be in 2025?
I think as a defense for us, it's been about solidifying our identity and what we want to do. Last year we didn't perform to our standard, and with new guys coming in, it's just been about, and older guys that stayed, it's just been about knowing who we want to be and putting in the work to do that.
Barry, from the podium here, what part of your development this offseason have you been working on that you are most excited to see how it plays out onto the field?
For me, this offseason, I didn't get to practice during the spring, so it's been extremely mental. A lot of film, a lot of studying the playbook, studying the defense, just mentally preparing and being a smarter player than I was last year, being more aware, knowing the whole defense and being able to teach it.
Thank you. Barry, we'll go right side, third row.
Kenton Gibbs with Locked On ACC. Barry, this defense was 133rd in the nation in terms of completion percentage against, and this is a defense that's been proud, had the mantra of the mob and all those things. How do you return to kind of that standard, or is this something completely new altogether and it's like, hey, we're not that group anymore, we're resetting something different, and going forward, you know, that kind of mob moniker is gone, but we're still holding our own here?
Nah, I would say we're still the mob. We still want to be a tenacious defense. Last year, like I said, we didn't perform to our standard. I think this year it's been really about upping the standard and holding ourselves accountable. I think last year the coaches did a lot of it. They told us what to do. This year I think it's been the players leading ourselves and telling each other what's wrong and holding each other accountable.
Barry, left side, back to Dan in the front row.
Barry, to look at the leadership from defensive coordinator Elijah Robinson, just what he has done for you personally and what you think he's done for this defense to create that mob mentality and to instill in you that fight in every single game to elevate this year.
Yeah, I think for me, the greatest thing he gave me is opportunity. I think he does that for a lot of players on the defense during practice, all the way down to the 4s, 5s, getting reps. So I think that opportunity makes everybody hungry. So you know you got to compete. Like the dude that's running with the 3s right now could be a 1. I started with the 3s in spring of 2024, so you could end up starting at any point. So it just keeps everybody hungry, so you got to be tenacious and keep going.
We're going to go right side to about the 5th row.
And kind of Thomas Christopher from the League Winners, kind of building off on that, you know, you started your career in the FCS, and then you kind of grinded your way up to where you are now to becoming a starter with Syracuse. Can you kind of just talk about your journey and what's your mentality going into this season?
I think my path here, going junior college first and then coming to Syracuse, I think it just put a level of like humility into me where in high school I thought I was the best player. I thought I could get whatever I wanted, but at the end of the day, it just made me more humble and made me more hungry and made me more confident in that the work, if I put in the work, eventually it'll pay off. And I think this season I put in a lot of work leading up to this season being my senior year. And I think all the work I put in will prepare me for any opportunities that are presented to me.
Hey, Barry, from the podium, follow up on that. Was there a moment in which that humility washed across you?
I think there's been a lot of moments in my career out of high school not getting recruited, not being able to play my second year at JUCO, not playing my first year at Syracuse. I think through all those moments, there's always been other people that I could tell weren't as fortunate. Even if I wasn't able to play, I was still at Syracuse. I was still there. I still had the opportunity, and I could make the most of it. When Coach Fran came, I could have easily said, I'm just going to give up, try to transfer, say he's not going to give me an opportunity. But at any given point, the work could pay off, and it should, as long as you do it and you're dedicated to it consistently.
Barry, thank you for that. You and Jack can switch spots. We will bring Mr. Stonehouse to the podium and spend about 5 minutes with him. Once again, please identify yourselves and the agency that you are with. First question for Jack will come first row, Jack, right in front of you.
Jack, Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. I believe you have the single season record at Syracuse with 45.7 yards average on your punt. Just what you can say to elevating yourself to that place at Syracuse, knowing that there's a lot of good punters that have gone to the NFL from the Orange.
Yeah, I'm very blessed to have obviously set that record. We're looking to do more this year, obviously. But, I mean, I've talked to Riley Dixon. I've gone out punting with him a couple of times. He's teaching me how to be more consistent in different ways, different punts. So it's just being the most prepared for next season as possible.
Jack, right side, third row.
Kenton Gibbs with Locked On ACC. Not only are you one of the only specialists here, but you're rightfully so because you were one of the nation's leaders in terms of punts inside the 20, punts downed inside the 20. How have you found a way to carve a niche as such a weapon from a position that is not traditionally thought of in that way?
Yeah, just like everyone else's position, it's important when you have to do it under the lights. I think just being when you're out there, it's muscle memory. The hard work pays off, just like everyone else says. Special teams is still a third of the game, so if you can if you have a chance to change the way of the game or change the outcome of the game, you just got to do it to the best of your ability.
Jack, back to Dan in the front row right in front of you.
Jack, you made a decision, like the other guys that are here at the ACC kickoff and in general, to play for Fran Brown and be a part of this. It's been known that he is who he says he is. What can you say to that effect, that you have a leader who's not just going to talk about it, but is going to live it every single day?
Yeah, I think that's why everyone stays and that's why everyone comes to play for him. I started college as a walk-on, so I like his gritty mindset, blue collar, hard work every day. Because when you come from that position, then you have to earn it. You have to go out, you have to work. And just being able to go out now and lead a special teams meeting, or guys can come up to you and ask you, hey, what do I do on this? And just knowing that you can just say oh, you have this, and they can come talk to you. Being in that position is really cool for me. And but back to Fran, I mean, he's literally the exact same person on and off the field. You can talk to him football or you can talk to him personal, and you're going to get the same person.
Jack, from the podium, you just said a moment ago that I've gone out punting with him before. I did not think I would hear something expressed that way. When you go out punting with someone, what does that look like?
So I guess it's the same thing as if quarterbacks were just to go out to throw. Riley Dixon and I guess, I don't know how else to say it. I just go out there and we just punt balls, and yeah.
Thank you for that. Thanks for taking us through that. Other questions for our special teamer here today? We're going to go right side, fifth row.
Thomas Christopher from the League Winners. Obviously, you'll be playing a dome in Syracuse, but how do you prepare, and what kind of challenges does inclement weather give you as a punter?
Yeah, same as everyone else. Yes, we do have a roof for 6 games, which is awesome. Still play outside. I've played outside my entire life. My high school didn't have a roof. But when it comes to weather, that's just what practice is. I'm outside when it's snowing. We go outside. That's really all you can do. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best. And when you get in that situation, it's all muscle memory. You've been there before. You don't really think about it.
Any other questions for Jack before he swaps spots? Seeing none, Jack, thank you. Dan, you are up for the next couple of minutes. Question for Dan. Dan, your first one will come to your left, first row.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Dan, you and I have talked about this road. From Michigan to Syracuse, quarterback to tight end to quarterback to tight end. Just going through this entire journey for you and your faith, God's guiding of you through this journey, I know is something that you've really leaned on.
Yeah, I think my faith has been everything. I feel like every tough time I've been through, it's been like a chip added to my armor, and it just kept stacking and stacking and stacking, and everything came together this year nicely, and I think I'm fully equipped this year, and I'm ready for whatever comes at me.
Dan, right side, third row.
Kenton Gibbs with Locked On ACC. Dan, you're one of the few players in America that has tallied a receiving touchdown, a rushing touchdown, a passing touchdown, and a tackle in your career. What do you credit that versatility to, and in what type of ways are you expecting to be used going forward with all of the wide myriad of things you can do on the football field?
I feel like I'm just a football player. Like, wherever you put me, I'm just going to go 150%. I don't know. I guess you can credit to just playing in the park growing up, just running around and just playing running back, quarterback, receiver, tight end, just playing a few different positions growing up. And, I think I'm just a versatile athlete. So, wherever coach needs me, wherever he thinks I'm going to help us win is what I'm going to do.
Dan, we'll go back to Dan in the first row.
You heard words today from Fran Brown that with Rondé Gadsden the second moving on to the NFL, you are the leader of that tight end room. You have worked so hard for this moment. To hear from your head coach, this is your room to lead.
Yep.
Just what that means to you at this point.
It means the world to me. He constantly is in my ear telling me that this is my room and this is my team, this is our team, and that's all you really need is the confidence from the head man, and to just go 100% and just be where your feet are every single day, and extremely blessed and grateful for Coach Fran.
Dan, from the podium, you spoke of your passion. We understand what fuels that, but where does the work ethic come from? Where in your past did you develop that?
I think it's genetically. I mean, I think my dad and uncles are all blue-collar construction workers, absolute dogs, getting up at 5 in the morning, working till 3 p.m. every single day. And I never heard my dad complain once. And I think just growing up and seeing that just instilled that work ethic in me, and it's just something that's in me, and then something that'll never leave, no matter what I'm doing.
Other questions for Dan before we send the Orange on their way? We'll take one last question in the front row from Dan Santoro again.
Dan, the definition of Syracuse football to you right now, when you look at this chapter of what's about to happen for the Orange, how would you define it? What are some words that would make sense beyond Dart to speak on what this season is going to be?
I think we're just the hardest working team in the country, and we're a bunch of really tough dudes, and we're going to go out there every Saturday and give it everything we got. And we got a lot of underdogs mixed with a lot of talented guys, and a head coach that's an absolute dog. And yeah, I would just say relentless, like a bunch of relentless guys.
Syracuse, thank you for your time today. Good luck this season, and we will see you on the trail. Folks, Pitt is due up with us next. They are in the room at 1 o'clock. Thank you.